Everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new to the channel, today we are going to be working on my 1998 Mustang Cobra. I sold this car back in 2017. It looked like this. And then I bought it back in 2021 and it looked like this. And over the past 2-3 years, we have been slowly but surely getting this thing back to being roadworthy. Little by little, it all adds up. It takes time for stuff like this, guys. But we are currently getting this car ready for the track in the spring in about 2 months. So we went through these steps right here. And now we are currently pulling the rear axle out of the car because I sold the car with the axle making noise back in 2017. And I'm pretty sure we're gonna have some bad gears in the rear diff or some bad bearings. So we are going to be fully building this diff to 1,000 wheel horsepower. It's gonna be capable of handling that. I don't see why not. We have a lot of good parts for it, but let's hop right into it and finish getting the axle out of the car. So my last video that I posted of the Mustang, I just touched on starting to take the axle out. I really only removed the wheels and the back brakes. So today we're going to be starting out by removing the sway bar down there. We're going to be removing the rear shocks. We're going to be getting these brakes over this way just so they're out of the way. And we'll remove all 4 control arms and the drive shaft, and this axle will go right on the ground, and we'll get it back there, set up on some jack stands, and then we'll start tearing into it. So let's start by removing the sway bar. You got 4 bolts for that, 2 on each side. It's a bolt and a nut. I'm gonna get those knocked out really quick, get the sway bar off the car. This car does have an iBox sway bar, so it's not a stock sway bar. Nothing on this car is really stock, so just keep that in mind. But I have an iBox sway bar. I'm going to get that torn off really quick, and then we will probably go and remove the shocks. So I'll put you guys in a time lapse, and we will get stuff going here. So we got the rear sway bar off. My particular sway bar, like I said, is not factory, so I don't remember these being the factory bolts and nuts, but they are 14s. There's 4 of them. Your emergency brake and everything mounts to one of these holes on each side, so keep that in mind. This sway bar is very, very beefy, very, very thick. It is an Eibach Sport or Street Strip or something sway bar, but it's definitely Eibach. But yeah, so sway bar's off. I'm going to probably get the drive shaft bolts loose now. There's 4 of those. They are pretty much use a wrench for it because they're 12 point. So I would use a wrench for those. I have to remove my ABS sensors, which I'm a little bit nervous about, but I'm going to see what I can do. Those are 12 points also. I believe they're 8 millimeters. So I have to get those out. That is actually holding me up for moving the caliper right now. So I'm going to try to do those first, and then I'm going to move to the drive shaft. And then pretty much all we have left holding this axle in is going to be the rear shocks and the 4 control arm bolts, and this whole axle is going to come right out. So let's continue, and we'll see what we can do. All right, guys, so I did go ahead and I did get the ABS sensors out right here. Be very careful with these bolts right here. They are like a weird head. Just take your time. Don't strip those, because if you strip those, you're going to have a very, very hard time getting them out. Just a fair warning, be very careful doing that. I did go ahead and I fed the e-brake cable around the axle and got my caliper on this side of the axle, just so it won't be in my way when I take the axle and lower it down and pull it back. You could disconnect your e-brake cable. It would probably be a lot easier, but I don't want to disconnect that. I want to disconnect as much or as least amount of stuff as possible. So keep that in mind. That's why I did it the way I'm doing it. I also removed the backing plates from the rotor backing plates, brake backing plates or whatever. The reason I did this was the front of this car doesn't have them. It hasn't had them for a long time. This car doesn't see rain. It doesn't see anything like that. And one of these, whichever one of these was on this side of the vehicle, was making noise while I was turning. So screw them. I don't need them. I mean, like, I don't have them on the Jeep either. So, and I have no issues. So I don't need them. They're staying off. They're over there now. And yeah, so now I have to pull the 4 bolts for the drive shaft. Like I said, those are 12 points. I believe they're 14s. They might be 15s. I'll let you guys know when I get it out. This car does need a new drive shaft, so we're probably going to be replacing the drive shaft also, and I'll show you guys why. From me launching, the body was actually hitting the drive shaft because this car is lowered on H&R Super Sports, so it was a little too low. So I think we're going to be adding isolators back to these. There's no spring isolators on these. When I was younger, I wanted low boy. Now I kind of need this car to be used for the track, so that is exactly what we're going to do. We're probably going to add some isolators to these, if not go to a different spring in the future, but right now we're going to rock what we got. Pretty much all I got left: drive shaft, shocks, 4 control arm bolts, axles out. And then we can assess what happened, because I'm very curious as to what happened. Really quickly, guys, if you guys don't understand why this axle is making noise, I was never easy on this car, and I'm gonna put clips right now. All of that abuse like that all the time. This axle did very good for what it is. It's more or less a factory axle, got a Ford Racing track lock in it, Moser axles, and 410 gears. That's really all it got done to it. So it definitely did really good considering the abuse I put it through, but we're definitely going to build it better now. So let's keep going here, and let's get that drive shaft out, get the shocks off, get the control arms off. Let's get this axle out of the car. That's what I'm talking about. I think it's safe to say, guys, I think early 20s Dylan, I think he put red Loctite on the drive shaft bolts, because they are not fun. I should probably put this car in gear, huh? Too bad I'm already down here. I don't feel like moving. Dude, what fucking size are these? How does that not fit? What the fuck size is this? 13. Well, I guess they're not a 14, like I said. And they're not a 13, like I said. Well, what the fuck size are they? Let's find out. Oh, 12 millimeter. Are you a 12 millimeter? Huh? Yeah. So they're a 12 millimeter. For future reference. Maybe next time I go to pull the drive shaft, I'll go back on this video and figure out what fucking size they are. And now I gotta put the car in gear because I forgot again. Okay, I'll be right back. Play nice, drive shaft bolts, play nice. We gotta go up, right? Yeah, I'll be loose. Will it come loose? I don't know. Ow, motherfucker, that hurt. Ugh. Well, there's one.
3 more to go. Oh my god, just played nice. Fuck. And there's definitely red Loctite on those. Yeah. Great.
Guys, those drive shaft bolts were not fun at all. Excuse me. There's a reason why I do time lapses, because certain things irritate me just a little bit, as you guys saw. So there was definitely red Loctite on those bolts. I could blame my younger self for that. And then on top of that, I hit my hand really hard, which really, really hurt. And then on top of that, I was using a ratcheting wrench and I got it stuck between the drive shaft and the bolt. So yeah, just batting 1,000 right now. But now that the drive shaft's out, we're going to pull the shocks off, which you're gonna wanna jack underneath. You wanna set a jack up right underneath the pumpkin there, just to hold the axle up, because once you take the shocks off, the axle's gonna drop a lot and you're gonna be able to take your springs off and everything. So you definitely want that supported before you go ahead and pull your shocks off. And then once your shocks are off, all we got left is control arm bolts. So fingers crossed, everything goes smoothly, not like the drive shaft that's now on the ground right there. Fuck you, drive shaft. And yeah, hopefully we'll, maybe half an hour, this axle will be out and over this way. All right, so we got our shocks off, but it's still pretty tight. And I think that has a lot to do with me having polyurethane bushings everywhere. But I think if we force the axle down, maybe it'll come out. Not too sure. Honestly, I might just pull the lower control arms and then we'll do the uppers last. I think that's what we're gonna do. So we have a pretty free axle now. As you can see, it moves pretty freely. We have everything off but the upper arms, which I'm about to take off right now. I have the jack underneath the pumpkin just so it doesn't fall on me and make me very, very angry and crush me. Because if that happens, this axle will probably be across the street in the river. So yeah, we're gonna make sure that doesn't happen. So I'm gonna get the 2 top bolts out. That's all that's left. This axle is going to be 100% free from the car then. And we'll get it moved back there. I got some big jack stands that I normally use for the Jeep. We're gonna put the axle up on those at like a nice height. So I could sit on like my bench right here. This folds into a seat. This way I can sit on that while I'm working on the axle, but the axle is going to be right here in about 5 minutes. So. So, as you can see, the old 8.8 that probably has 100 or more 7,000 RPM clutch dumps on it is finally out of the Cobra. My salvaged ass Cobra. That still has a clean title somehow. But we won't talk about that. Here's the rear, guys. I'm not going to open this rear right this minute. I just don't feel like doing it right now. So my main goal for this video and today was to get the rear out of the car on the jack stands here. So this way I could take it apart, figure out what went wrong. If you guys want to know what went wrong, it's going to be next week's video, Friday, 12 p.m. My guess is gears, bearings, pinion problem, something along those lines. But we will tear into this and we will get to the bottom of it. Now I have everything new for this guy, so I'm not worried about any of this stuff on here. It's the least of my worries, not worried about it. But yeah, If you guys like what you saw in today's video, please drop a like up on this video, drop a comment down below, subscribe to the channel because we have plenty of Mustang content coming. We have plenty of Jeep content coming. We have plenty of Subaru content coming. You guys know my 3 vehicles that I have. Maybe one day we'll add another one to that mix, maybe. But right now, our focus is the nice old Ford 88 and building it better. So if you guys enjoyed today's video, please support the channel, guys. And I will catch you guys in next week's video, Friday, 12 p.m. when we tear this thing open and figure out what the hell went wrong. But I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.
Everybody has a turn back moment. You have a moment where you can go forward or you can give up. But the thing you have to keep in mind before you give up is that if you give up, the guarantee is it will never happen. That's the guarantee of quitting, that it will never happen, no way under the sun. The only way, the possibility